Hello everybody out on the big old scary internet. I've got an interesting one here. This I got with my house. They were using it to keep the lights on while nobody was here. And it's a NOMA SE12. It's got a plug on one end, a plug on another end, a little tiny battery bay in the back that accepts these little buttons, and a digital display for setting 6 different program times to turn your circuit on and off. It's a great little device. There were 3 or 4 of them in the house when I picked up the house, and I've been using them for almost a decade now for my various needs. They're great for turning your lights on and off at certain times if you want your desk lamp to be on when you wake up, that sort of thing. Makes a great little alarm clock. What I found interesting here is it says 120 volts AC, 5 amps, 600 watts on the back here is its maximum. So I was curious, where's the fuse? If this is protected circuit at 5 amps, they're not going to leave it up to the user to decide, oh, that's 5 amps, I should stop. It has to be built into here, the protection. So usually you would find a fuse on a device like this. I expected it to be behind the batteries there, but there's nothing there. So I decided to take this apart and see what's inside and show it to you folks. Now, on this side we have the digital controls. You can see the little buttons on the back there. There's this little metal thing here. I'm not sure what that is. You can mention in the comments if anyone knows what that little silver doohickey is. And all the other electronics there are on the other side. I don't feel like taking it apart, so we'll just leave that alone. Our digital electronics. Now we move over to the analog side here, the power side. Now on this here we've got 5 wires. There's this little cable that feeds to our digital display. It's just 3 wires. It's some kind of a trigger interface. And over here we've got our 2 little wires, and they are connected to our battery terminal. Now that would just be for our battery backup for when there's a power failure. It keeps the time. And then over here we have our 2 large wires. One goes directly between the power in to the power out, and the other one goes to a relay here on the right. Now on the board there are 4 diodes, 4 small resistors, 1 large resistor, a small capacitor, a large capacitor, quite a large capacitor actually, that's that big guy there, and a small little zener diode right there. Now, what I find very interesting here is that there's no fuse. Our relay, though, is rated for 15 amps, 125 volts. So I have a feeling that in this case I'm actually getting a little bit more bang for my buck, which is not usually how it works with these kinds of electronics. I do know from experience these little zener diodes have a nasty habit of shorting out if you have too much current go through them. They're not rated for a lot of power. There's very little room to dissipate heat in this case. And they do regulate, they act as a voltage regulator. They cap off the voltage at whatever they are set at, and they won't let the voltage go above that point. But any of the excess voltage gets burnt off as heat by creating a current flowing through the zener diode. So if you crank your voltage too high, you just burn these little guys out. And they can short open, they can short close, so you can't use that really as a fuse for the 5 amp rating. So I'm not really sure where the 5 amp rating comes from. I wouldn't push it. I wouldn't try to put more than 5 amps over this. Realistically, follow the certification on the back here, but I suspect this could handle the full 15 amps without any serious problems. Very interesting little device here. The diodes, the 4 diodes, probably act as a bridge rectifier, and then it's just using resistors to step down the voltage. It probably uses very little current to keep the time on this chip. So I was just thinking that metal thing there may be an oscillator of some sort for timekeeping. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Maybe you learned a thing or two. I know I did. Feel free to like or subscribe, and have a nice day. Bye.